are at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin tonight for round 5 of the 2021 Season 1 Flux IndyCar Championship. Been a big week of races here at Road America with the GT1s on Thursday, the GTEs last night, and now as we hit round 5 of 8 in the Flux IndyCar Championship, the top open wheel series on the American Tour, we expect a fantastic battle from one of America's greatest road racing venues, a 4-mile circuit cut through basically the forest of north central Wisconsin. All right, gonna get myself out of here so I can get on the monitor. I'm Carlin Hicks with you tonight. I will be alone up here in the booth. We have 11 starters on the field, with a few possibly on the way, a few late cars back trying to get through inspection. So we'll see if they can make their way around. In the meanwhile, we will take you out here to tonight's races. I'm going to take you down on the grid. There is the number 61 PureTech Dallara Chevy of OGR, a cat guy. He is your current points leader, has a pretty sizable points advantage. He has 2 wins this season at Long Beach and the Texas Motor Speedway Oval, and has a pretty sizable edge if he can avoid damage, can get a good consistent finishes. He's got the inside track at winning the inaugural Flux IndyCar Championship, one which is in fact the oldest continuously run motorsports championship in the world. It was the first American National Open Wheel Championship. The predecessor to the IndyCars was held in 1905. That predates as a series, but the AAA, under AAA sanctioning, that predates the Indianapolis 500, in fact, by even 6 years, and has run more or less continually since then so far. Let's get out on the track. We'll give some track time here to the spot start. Running in the number 3 Penske Pennzoil tonight is Lecky. He had a very big win last night, got his 2nd win of the season in the Flux American GTE Championship right here on this track. So he'll be looking to double up this weekend here at the fabled Road America circuit. Lucky, probably a little more familiar with GTE cars than Indy cars, but I have no doubt that he's going to be able to wrench that car around. Still early in the qualifying session. Flux Motorsport Championship races have a 20-minute qualifying session, followed by a 45-minute feature event. As I said earlier, this is round 5 of 8. We've had a fantastic season so far. In the IndyCar opener at Long Beach, it was Cat Guy narrowly outdueling NZ Jack at the line to win at the Long Beach Grand Prix. Round 2 took us to Willow Springs, where Dale the Whale, whom we are hoping will get through inspection and get here tonight, ran a terrific dominating race for the win. And then Cat Guy got his 2nd win of the season in the first oval race at Texas Motor Speedway. We're coming off the PSN network issues, which shut down week 4 of competition, and unfortunately for the Indy cars cost us the championship round at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this season. Excuse me. So it's a little bit disappointing to the drivers, but they've got 4 more rounds to go here. Road America, Watkins Glen on the short course, Laguna Seca, and then the season finale at the Texas Motor Speedway. As you see, Lecky get loose, and he goes into the wall, brings it back in here early on. Grid place penalty already for the veteran One Shoe. Get some time here to NZ Jack. He's making his 3rd start of the season in the number 10 NTT Data Chevy. Jack with that fantastic drive as he comes across the line there at a 149.1 and moves up to 3rd here early in qualifying. He had that 2nd place run in the season opener at Long Beach and was just terrific. Unfortunately missed the Willow Springs race, ran a solid race at Texas, and is currently 3rd in the points, I believe. Don't have my numbers in front of me as they have been commandeered. We do have another car in the field, it's your boy Squash, a veteran IndyCar driver, should add a 12th car here to the field at tonight's Road America race. As I said, we got a few guys back in the paddock trying to get through inspection, but Jack, after that terrific performance at Long Beach, still a contender in this IndyCar championship, and definitely, I would say, a contender tonight. A little information for those not familiar with the Flux IndyCar Championship or with IndyCars in general. These cars are a shared chassis. They are a Dallara chassis, and the teams then have a choice between a Honda or a Chevy engine package that are tuned to match, in essence, horsepower. It's essentially identical, although their tuning setups are very different. This makes for incredibly close racing. The biggest difference between the familiar Formula cars from Europe is the weight. These cars probably weigh about 50% more than a Formula One car, and they have a higher set of horsepower, if not quite the power to weight ratio. These cars come in two packages, a speedway package and what you're looking at now, the high downforce road course package with the extra side skirting. In essence, it's a monocoque tub that Dallara builds with a series of aero packages that the teams utilize to adapt them to the particular courses. It's a highly cost-efficient way of operating a series, and it is one of the reasons IndyCar has been back on the rise again over the past several years. But we've run them for a long time, even before coming to Flux sanctioning, and we're glad to be here. And they put on a show so far this season. As I've said, they have put on a show, as McToasty in his number 21 Chevy 146.3 has put up the fastest lap. McToasty last night took the pole here at the GTE race, and then with a first lap incident with Leckie, I believe, fell back very quickly. He had a very rough night after winning the pole point, so he's going to be looking to make up for that here tonight. As we've got a few more drivers making it through inspection, getting out onto the track. Time to tell our viewers, look and go to FluxMotorsport.com if you're interested in the action. You can sign up to our Discord community there, get all your races, both community, informal public races, and the many Flux Motorsports Championship Series that run in both European and American time zones. We also have all the merchandise you could want from the Flux Motorsport store, as well as discounts from top industry sim racing hardware providers such as Fanatec and RS-Dash. We're watching McToasty slide that car. That's an interesting thing here about Road America. You're not going to want that to be your driving style during the race. You've got to take care of the tires to some extent here. We're anticipating 23 laps maybe here over the 45 minutes. At a 4-mile course like this, you cannot afford to run out of fuel. You cannot afford to have a serious tire issue. They're just moving too fast. The key to this track is coming off of the corners as he's leading the way. Let's go back to the points leader, Cat Guy. Get to somebody here who's approaching the start-finish line, and we will give you a lap around the speedway, the circuit here at Road America. Forgive my shuffle. We'll go ahead and go with NZ Jack. We will get in the cockpit as he's coming down to turn 14. Don't want to clip the curbs onto the front straightaway, preparing for another lap at Road America. Comes under the Gardner Denver sign. You take the start-finish line here, you're going to be well up into 7th gear, pushing well in excess, around 190 miles an hour as you come down into turn 1. Now you've got to avoid sliding too far like that. Catch it. Good job there by Jack. And you've just got to maintain momentum. As fast as these straights are, these corners are very sharp. He slides, and he's going to lose it right there on his ride along. Just does touch the wall. We will get a ride along later, perhaps during the race itself, when guys are a little more settled in. As you can see, when we do have the solo booth, I will leave the track map up. As he comes through turn 5 there, you can see by the arrow where Cat Guy is as he's working his way through. As I said before, as fast as this track is, the straightaways are incredibly fast, an incredibly dangerous track in some ways. But I would say as well that we preached to the guys last night before the GTE race here, and really all weekend that the cars have been here, is that we want to see them stay off the curves, because when as fast as you're going, when you slide the car around, you hit the curbs, it kills your momentum. Now, it's worse than on other road courses because of the fact that the straightaways and the full throttle time is so long here, particularly in an IndyCar, that, like for instance right here coming out of 14, it will mess up 2 laps time if you do not make this corner correctly. You've got to come out, not clip the curb, and get up through the gears quickly. And the cars do not have their push to pass here in qualifying. We'll talk about that a little more when we get into the race. Cat Guy making his first hot lap goes 1:46.5. But at the moment, Lecky sliding around during qualifying a bit, but he's made that Pennzoil Penske car as he's making, I don't think it's his first start, but his second start of the season here in the series. As he's got that down into the sub 146s here in qualifying trim, with NZ Jack right behind him. In IndyCar, always a very international series. You're looking at Great Britain, New Zealand, United States, US, Australia, US again. It's an international field always in the IndyCar Championship, despite its North American origins and basing. Like he's coming around through Canada Corner right there. One of the famous tracks on this circuit, named for a Canadian club racer who back in the 50s had to be repeatedly pulled out of the barriers over there. That's the urban legend anyway. And let's see if Lecky can better that 1:45.7. The tires will go quick here, especially in qualifying trim. Does not right there. And we'll shuffle down into the field a little bit. Give some time here in the number 20 Ed Carpenter Chevrolet to Jiggly Jello. He has been very consistent this season across a multitude of disciplines. He's shown abilities in the stock cars. He's shown abilities in the Indy cars, in the sports cars. And he's run on the European Tour in some of the sports cars over there. So he has really been one of the top new drivers here in Flux here in 2021, Season 1. And currently sitting 5th on the qualifying board. I've got a 6-month-old color commentator here with me, and I'm just hoping she'll stay quiet as we are winding down to 6.5 minutes. Cat Guy managed to he's going to pull it back into the pits. He put up a 1:45.2 and just looking to extend his points lead even more with that if it holds up. Another guy we know has some speed out there running in the number 15 Ray Hall Honda, one of the Honda mainstay here this season in the Flux IndyCar Championship has been My Name is Jeff. He was very, very quick at Long Beach, got a front row qualifying spot at Long Beach. He was also very fast at Willow Springs, but has had some bad luck and has been unable to keep the aero kit on that car. A little bit of contact. He's been caught up in some other people's incidents, and as a result, doesn't have the position in the points. But it's, as we said, still 4 rounds to go. Everything to race for, and this is a guy who has the pace to do it. He can come up from this part in the field and make a race of it. As he goes around, I believe that's One Shoe, veteran driver. But Jeff, definitely a guy I'd love to see what he can get a clean lap. He can probably move it up a little bit more. We'll have to wait and see. Looking now at the number 5, another one of the Honda mainstays. That is Green Gaiman, the Canadian driver. He was in the GTE race last night. Now, Green Gaiman, a driver who looking to see a little bit more from. He has shown pace at times, and he's a driver that, I've had a long time doing this, about 20 seasons of this stuff, and as he loses it coming out of turn 14. And I've seen guys who showed some pace and struggled earlier, but if they put the time in, keep racing, and get some more experience, really, then I've seen a lot of them develop. And Green Gaiman has that kind of pedigree. You can see it on the track with him. He's got some of the instincts that could make a good race driver. It's going to come down to gaining some consistency and avoiding mistakes. I think sometimes perhaps goes with an over-aggressive setup rather than settling in. You can see that car, he's oversteering coming off of turn 2, and that's going to hurt the long straightaway. Now, technically, this is turn 3 and 4 are through there in this kink. We all know that's a straightaway. There's not a car in the world that doesn't run full throttle all the way through there, but technically those little kinks are, I call it the turn 2 to 5 straightaway, but it's also known as hurry downs. "13 cars taken to the track." How about that with CMC? And he got a duplicate car there. I'm not sure if we got 220s out there. I know he's in the 21, and Jackson the 10. Okay, I got them mixed up earlier. That is, they look quite a bit alike. CMC up there in 5th now with less than 3 minutes to go. He'll be happy with that. He has speed, but has had a lot of bad luck this season keeping these cars under him. Number of guys coming in. Looks like Cat Guy's going to pull out and make one more shot at bettering his lap time. This is as good a time as any to get that cockpit view as he pulls out. Would be carrying a lot more speed, obviously, into turn 1, but nonetheless. He's going to pull aside for the cars going around him, obviously, there. We'll pick back up with this if we get a opportunity. There's McToasty. That's the one. McToasty and CMC have wound up in identical liveries here. They're both running the number 21 Preferred Services Chevrolet. Must be some kind of sponsor deal between the two of them. We'll try to keep them differentiated for you here in the race. Toasty had the pole provisionally early on, currently looking at 4th place and trying to gain a little. We'll try to see where he's at. Excuse me, with that little slide's not going to help. And I believe he's pulling in and might be settling for what he has. Mark C. back there in the Gallagher number 8 Chevrolet. Surprised to see him as far back as 13th. Mark has a lot more pace than that, but obviously not pulling it together here in qualifying. He may need to use some strategy and some smarts to get where he needs to be. I'm going to forgive the viewers if I don't see your comments tonight. As I said, I have a issue with the iPhone at the moment. Let's see where Mark comes across as he put up a faster lap. He does, in fact, move up into the 149s to get him up into 10th, and I think he might settle right there. Cat Guy, meanwhile, looks like he's going to pull it off into the pits. All right, here's going to be the interesting one, I believe. It looks like the last car. We got 2 more on the track. That's Jack, NZ Jack, and Lecky, and they are both going to be taking a shot here at Cat Guy's pole time. So we've got high drama here at the end of the qualifying session. This is a good time to get in the cockpit as Jack's coming through the carousel here. Got to keep it down. Do not want to have to burp it right there. Let's see what he's got. He's got a fairly light fuel load. He's got the red alternate soft tires. These cars come with 2 tire choices from Firestone. These are all Firestone tires in the IndyCar series. The reds are the softer alternate tires, and the blacks are the harder, more durable tires. And you may see guys run combinations, staggered combinations of those, much like the Trans Am series does. All right, here we go. Jack's coming down to it. Let's see if he can better that 145.5 and gain that pole point. And he does. On the very last lap of qualifying, he pulls it off. A fantastic run on the final lap of qualifying by NZ Jack. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's Flux Motorsport 2021 Season 1 IndyCar Championship Round 5 at Road America. NZ Jack in the Chevrolet, he takes the pole with a 144.560. He will be flanked on the outside of the front row, second place qualifying run for the points leader, 2-time winner this season, OGR, a Cat Guy in the 61 PureTech Chevy. Starting third with a terrific run in the Penske Pennzoil Chevrolet number 3, Lecky 2000 will start third. Starting fourth, the American Mick Toasty in the 21 Preferred Chevrolet. He will be fourth. Fifth, CMC with his best qualifying run of the season. He's in an identical 21 Preferred car to Mick Toasty. Starting sixth on the outside of row 3 will be Jiggly Jello in the number 20 Ed Carpenter Chevrolet. Starting 7th will be the Aussie and veteran Muttley 56. He's in the 22 Menards Chevrolet. And starting 8th will be It's Your Boy Squash. He is in the Hydroxy Cut car. Starting 9th, a little farther back than we'd expect him here in this race. My name is Jeff. I'll be looking to come through in the 15 Ray Hall Honda. Starting 10th with that late run knee. I believe it's an Aussie. It's the Aussie there. It is Mark C. Starting 11th, the veteran One Shoe in the number 6 Carpenter Racing car inside of row 6. On the outside of him will be Survivor in the number 28 DHL Honda. Starting on the inside of row 7, all alone on the final row, shotgun on the field, is Green Gaiman in the number 5 Honda car. All right, folks, that is your starting lineup for tonight's race at Road America in the IndyCar Championship Round 5. Let's get them to their 2-minute room and ready to go for the start here. I'm going to get myself out of the box, make sure I don't escape the room. Get the track map up, and as we said right there, NZ Jack on the outside, Cat Guy on the inside in the PureTech 61, a pair of Dallara Chevys. They will be firing down to turn 1. 13 starters here today. We're looking, possibly would see some attrition. We hope that we don't. We'd like to see a better finishing percentage from our Flux Motorsport drivers as we are getting into the second half of the season and everything to play for here in the Flux IndyCar Championship. Who's going to get the whole shot through turn 1? I'll tell you an interesting story about turn 1 here a little later on in the broadcast, if my mind allows me to remember it. Row 2 there is Lecky and Mick Toasty. Row 3, you've got CMC alongside Jiggly Jello. Row 4, there's Muttley and It's Your Boy Squash. I'm going from the inside to the outside on your screen. My name, Jeff, and Mark C in row 5. Survivor and One Shoe in row 6, and Green Gaiman's by himself, shotgun on the field. Just looking for just a spectacular race at this track. As we said, 4 miles long, for many years the longest road course in North America. It's very much a European track, dropped right in the middle of cheese country here in the north central part of the United States, not far from the Canadian border. This is kind of gets treated like a home track by the Canadian drivers over the years, and other sanctioning bodies I'd worked with very much one of the home tracks for the Canadian drivers. All right, here we go. Getting ready to start at Road America. The car's not quite formed up beautifully, but they are pulling themselves together now. NZ Jack on the right of your screen in the entity data car, Cat Guy on the left of your screen, and we are green, green, green. These guys have 10 push to pass, and I can guarantee you some of them are using them right now. You've got 10 push to pass, giving you about 50 horsepower for 10 seconds. And it looks like NZ Jack gets the whole shot. Lecky comes through, Cat Guy through. We got a car around. CMC is into the wall. We got two more around. That is My Name is Jeff, One Shoe. Green Gaiman, Survivor. Looks like we had a big pile up in turn one. I saw CMC lose it. I'm not sure if he got help from behind. He has lost his front wing from that 5th place starting position. That is tough luck for him. Meanwhile, up front, Lecky has shot ahead of NZ Jack, likely using some push to pass there at the end of the turn 5 straight towards Hurry Downs. And so Lecky has, just like last night, pulled out in front. He's got NZ Jack following him with Cat Guy as we wait for the cameras to cycle through. Cat Guy cycling through in 3rd right now. McToasty holding his spot in 4th. Jiggly Jello in 5th. As a number of cars appear to be suffering damage. CMC limping it around. He's probably going to be coming in to put a wing on it. And we've got a missing rear wing from It's Your Boy Squash. He was right in the center of the field. He's just limping it around trying to get to the pits. So we've got at least a couple of cars. Not sure if Jeff's got, yeah, he did. He appears to be missing his whole right side of his wing. We'll see if he tries to drive with it like that. But in the meantime, little carnage in turn 1. And just like last night's GTE race here, Lecky has taken advantage, shot from the 3rd starting spot all the way out to a sizable lead here on the 1st lap. He must have had very, very good use of his push to pass, but we are still not quite there yet. Let's get some chase cam view. This is a great track for the chase cam view, as we are on McToasty in 4th place, as he is looking up at Cat Guy, going down through turn 1 into turn 2. Looks like those bottom 3 cars, 11 and back, are going to be hitting the pits to get those repairs necessary. This is definitely going to be a pit stop race for these guys. Make no mistake about it. They're going to need fuel, that's for certain. All right, cycle back onto finding some of our battles on the track. Things will get spread out at Road America quite a bit sometimes, but don't let it deceive you. The visual gaps are, this place has such speed that the visual gaps are not quite what they actually are when you are looking on the track, because one bobble from that guy could easily mean a couple seconds. As right there, we've got, is that Survivor? Jiggly Jello and Muttley appear to have a battle going on for 5th place. Jiggly Jello hanging solid in the first couple of rows, while Muttley has moved up here off the start in the 22 Menards car. He's trying to chase down Jiggly for 5th place here in the opening minutes, opening laps. Make those repairs and stay well on the lead lap. The guys in the back, and you never know, we'll have to wait and see how things play out. You might be able to strategize your way back up, as you see, I believe that's It's Your Boy Squash coming out of the pits right there. He must have had some extensive repairs, as does CMC. He's been in there a long time. He was missing the entire front wing, so they're doing some serious suspension fixing right there. Let's get into the cockpit here on Muttley in the 22 Menards car, running in 6th. He is trying to get Jiggly coming down towards Hurry Downs into turn 5. Goes inside, gets hard on the brakes. These two are going at it. Little bit of contact right there, I think. Might have been a slight touch. Another difference, however, between the Dallara Indy cars and the Formula cars that are more commonly used worldwide is these things are a little bit more sturdy. They will take a little bit of wheel-to-wheel, not so much wing-to-wing, but wheel-to-wheel contact. You can kind of bump the aero kit a little bit and not immediately lose pieces. That is an advantage. They are built to be a little more durable than your average Formula car, but Muttley comes through there with that slight touch and pulls ahead into fifth. Meanwhile, Mark, he's trying to get back as these guys are all caught up on each other now. Working on a little cough there, guys. Sorry, going to be muting at times to avoid blowing you up here, but we've got fighting going on right here in the middle of the pack. We've got more as we've got changes going on up front. NZ Jack, Lucky must have had a little bobble, and it appears he did, judging by that last lap time of 1:54.7. And now Jack, from the pole, is back up front. Sorry, having a little more audio trouble there, folks, but back with you. NZ Jack's now pulled out a little bit of a lead. As we said, don't let the lap time, the intervals be deceiving to you here. These can be phantom gaps at Road America. As you saw, Lucky had a 3.5 second lead, and one bobble shot him back 5-6 seconds. As we are seeing the field separate just a little bit in places, they're still doing battle on the track. Lucky looking ahead to Cat Guy, looking ahead to Jack, I'm sorry, Cat Guy, not far behind. He's got them just in his, and Cat Guy, given his points in his place in the points table, really just needs to try and be consistent here, because if he is, he's going to, he comes in with a 40-point advantage over third place, and Dale the Whale is not in this, second place driver's not in this race. So Cat Guy, just a good finish here, will set him up nicely for the final 3 rounds of the championship. He could really have the inaugural Flux IndyCar Championship in his grasp. Rick Lugello still within striking distance of Mark there back in 9th. We get back to our leader. Apologies again between audio difficulties and the wicked cough I'm working on. It's and the allergies I'm dealing with. I'm having a little bit of audio trouble. Meanwhile, these guys are going at it tooth and nail. Let's get on board the cockpit of Lecky in the number 3 Penske Pennzoil Chevrolet. Jack, your pole sitters in front of him. Lecky had the lead, and as I said, the gaps here can be phantom gaps because you're going so fast as he comes through the kink there that one little bobble, one little hit of the curb, and you can get 2 seconds back in a hurry. So coming down to Canada Corner, we'll give you the promised track rundown now that we're about 10 minutes into this race, as they're going to just about to come off of turn 14 here. We'll stay on board with Lecky as we do it. You come off of 14 here, down the long front straightaway. This track just replete with high-speed sections. He's staying right behind Jack so he can get the maximum slipstream, or in American terms, draft. You're maxing out over 190, down through the gears, hard through turn 1. Don't want to oversteer too much. Now you come down to turn 2. Once again, got to keep it off the curbs, but you want to keep the RPMs up. Now you're onto the second straight. This is the hurry down straight. Technically, this is turns 3 and 4 coming through here. Good place to use push to pass if you are trying to make an overtake. But here's the big part. Coming down to turn 5, you're going downhill, hard braking, 90 degrees, low speed left-hander. The car gets very light right there. That is a very difficult place to drive the car, especially if you've got somebody around you. Now you're coming through turn 6. You're running through here, scooting through, back towards the right. And then following this left-hander, it's through the famed Carousel. Now the Carousel's tricky. You got to be conservative a bit coming into the Carousel, because the key to the speed all the way down through the kink and Canada Corner is not to be oversteering, not to be understeering coming out there. Right there he gets a little bit of push. You want to be full throttle coming through the kink here. He had to let off just a little bit, so he might be fighting tires already. It's high speed, up into 185, close to 190 miles an hour as you head down into the sharp Canada Corner. This is a tough part of the track. You see Jack run a little wide. That gives Lecky an opportunity immediately to get back on top of him, which he does. And now back to turn 14 and on to the front straight. Pick up the speed, go towards the start, and it looks like he might have the pass done. Not quite yet, no. Yes, he does. As Jack catches a little bit of grass, just like I said, a little bit of grass gets caught right there, and there you are, just like that. You'll see the lead change again, but for right now, Lecky and Jack are swapping the lead back and forth. Now the question is, can one of them pull away from the other, and can Cat Guy McToasty, the guy still within 10 seconds of them here early on, make a run for it? Now the question is also the strategy. They have to pit for fuel. They're gonna, with the simultaneous pit stops allowed in the IndyCar series, why I mean tires and fuel can go on at the same time. They're going to take tires and fuel, and or take tires when they get fuel. So the question is, when do you make the move? Do you try to short pit? Do you try to stretch it out and run lighter laps later on? How confident are you in your setup, basically, the long run of your setup? And I think that's the question when you look at, although it certainly wasn't last night in the GTEs, but that would be the question of a part-time driver coming in and starting up in the series like Lecky is here in the Indy cars, is does he have a setup that's ready to go for a long run? We'll have to see. He's looking very solid now as he's once again opened up a little bit of a gap there on NZ Jack back to second place. And meanwhile, we do have a battle here at the very back of the field. Let's give it some time here. CMC in 12th, It's Your Boy Squash 13th. These two guys, the unfortunate guys who picked up that early damage and were into the pits, they have now fallen a lap down, although possibly can be making something up through the cycle of pit stops. We'll see their lap times, the last lap, up there with the top half of or up there with the mid-pack of the field. So they could possibly be making up time here as CMC has Squash right on his tail. And that's turning out to be a very good battle. Let's move up here, back up to the battle for 7th, as Mark has Survivor right on his tail. These guys running pretty solid lap times right now, around the 150 mark, a good race pace for mid-pack as they are working lap 9. And you know that pit stops are going to be coming up sooner than you expect. And it looks like he goes wide, and Mark goes wide and is into the barriers outside of turn 13, and he has lost his wings. That is a tough break. He had moved up a few spots and looked pretty solid, but right there, that car is in trouble. He's trying to get it going. He's lost his front wing there. That happened just coming down the track, and it looks like he has decided to retire the car as he took major damage there coming down through the kink. Lost it coming through the kink and just whapped it into the wall, and that was that. So that's it for Mark, and we have our first retirement of the race. Down to 12 drivers. A bad luck for him. He was running in 7th place at the time of that incident. All right, meanwhile, while we're looking at that action, we're missing all the stuff up front. Lecky, our leader, has gone from 1st back to 4th place, so he's obviously had an off somewhere on the track. Has gone to 10 seconds back, in fact, and I'm not seeing any damage on the car. So without any damage on the car, it just looks like he spun, lost the car, and then rejoined. The car looks like it's in okay shape. But obviously, we missed that action while we were out back catching Mark's accident in the kink. But in the meanwhile, let's recycle through the field as we're awaiting green flag pit stops here with 28 minutes remaining in the 45-minute Flux IndyCar Championship race at Road America. NZ Jack, the pole sitter, has, with Lecky's misfortune, pulled back out into the lead. He's holding 3.5 seconds on Cat Guy. Jack finished 2nd at Long Beach in the season opener. As we said, after 45 minutes, he was half a second behind Cat Guy at the line, and we could be shaping up for another duel like that as these guys coming off through here, through Hurry Downs and down towards the Carousel. Points leader Cat Guy just a 3.5 second gap, but as you can see, the way that changes, it has a lot to do. He's looking right up at through the end of the Carousel there. You can refer to your track map on the right to see the visual gap. The 61 PureTech car. Cat Guy has had a terrific season so far, as we said, well in the points. He's been on the podium all 3 races, I believe, with 2 wins, and is looking like he's taking care of the tires right now. He did run a 1:48.9 on that last lap, but obviously running a pace here to maintain where he is. Not far behind him, just a few seconds back, is McToasty. Went from, I believe, starting 4th place. He has avoided the first lap carnage and really just been quietly running right there in the front 5 this entire race. With Lecky's problems, he has moved up into 3rd place and has a few seconds on him. He's also running down in the 1:48s at race pace, and would not count him out yet as well. It's really going to come down to the pit stop strategy, where I anticipate seeing some guys short pit. Fuel might be an issue here. The amount of fuel in the tank could very well be an issue to make it on only one stop. You might have to save your fuel a bit. So all these things can come into play here in the next 26 minutes. Meanwhile, back to 4th, Lecky, excuse me, started 3rd, has led for a number of laps early on, but some unseen incident has pushed him back to 4th, but he's got a sizable advantage over the field behind him and just has to try to settle back in. 10 seconds by no means puts him out of it, but going to have to get the concentration back as he's hustling it down here, Hurry Downs through towards the Carousel, and put those guys up in front of him on the radar. 15 seconds back from him, you're looking at the 22 Menards car of the veteran Aussie driver Muttley, 56. Muttley very happily running in 5th. He's had a surprisingly solid season. Muttley has always been more of a mid-pack rider in the IndyCar series over the years, but with the move here to Flux, he's really done well. He had a top 5 finish at Long Beach just by sticking out the carnage of a lot of people getting damaged. He ran very solidly at Texas. He is an experienced oval track racer, and it's just been that kind of season for him where he has been able to avoid most of the worst of the trouble. And right now, running in 5th place as he started back in 11th, I believe. So he has really just done a great job driving like a veteran, driving within himself, and just moving up through the field while guys in front of him have some kind of trouble. It's a ways back, another 15 seconds back to 6th place One Shoe, the veteran driver, a long-time competitor in the IndyCar series and all the American Tour championships. And One Shoe doing much the same thing. He started towards the back of the pack, and with other guys having trouble, he has just run a consistent race pace and has moved up to 6th place. One Shoe, my partner in the booth last night in the GTE race, and really just doing what you expect from him. He's still very much in position to where he has a shot at moving up into getting into the top 5. And with any problems from the top 4, he can move up even more. As meanwhile, not far behind him, we do have pit stops taking place. It's PT's making his 2nd stop, but as you can see by the interval there, he is a few laps down already in what's been a tough afternoon for him. Survivor, meanwhile, taking to the pit lane for fuel and tires from 8th place as he pulls into his box in the 28 DHL Chevy Delara. I assure you they are putting tires on that car. Meanwhile, we'll get back to the rundown with Jiggly Jello. Meanwhile, 11 seconds behind One Shoe running in 7th. Jello was up into the top 5 earlier in the race. No, I don't see any damage on the car, but he may have had pace has slowed a bit. He's with a 153 on the last lap. He may be having possible a little bit of tire trouble. If those reds on the graphic are correct and he's on soft tires, he could just be grinding it out. Meanwhile, we've got Lecky in the pits. Let's get back to the action as Lecky from 4th place has hit the pits. He is the first of the front runners to do so, and we'll see if he loses or gains any type of advantage from that. Getting fuel and tires service, very quick pit stops here with the IndyCars. Muttley, meanwhile, coming in right behind him from 5th place at the halfway point. Like he gets his service and he's off. We'll have to see how that cycles out. As we said, Muttley getting the Menards 22 car also serviced behind him. We do have a battle for position right here where Green Gaiman has My Name is Jeff, who looks like he's missing a wing on the left side, and that is not the same damage we saw earlier. So I'm wondering if he had another one, perhaps even there with Green Gaiman. We'll have to see if we find the debris on the track the next time we come by. But Jeff just continuing the hard luck we talked about in the pre-race this season. You know he has the pace, but he has been running. I would imagine he might try to pit that thing, because that is going to be very tough, particularly on the right-handers, to maintain some form of downforce. Jiggly Jello, meanwhile, taking the number 20 Carpenter Chevy onto the pits from 7th place. Get back up towards the front and see what kind of action we've got here. As here comes your leader, NZ Jack, into the pits, and he's got Cat Guy following right behind him. Jack is into the pits, Cat Guy's into the pits, My Name is Jeff is into the pits a lap down. But each of the top 3, McToasty as well. Let's see what kind of pit stops they get. Ooh, and Jack misses his pit box. Jack goes to the wrong pit box. That could be very costly. He has completely missed his pit lane. All kinds of problems for NZ Jack. He went to the wrong pit box, then he overshoots his box. Cat Guy, I believe, is all the way down at the end of the pit lane here. Let's see if he gets in cleanly. I do not believe he's gotten his service already, has he? Maybe he did at the very beginning. Jack is moving, so I guess he did, but in that cycle of pit stops, Jack is going to lose out. Those 3 came in at the same time. Here comes Cat Guy. Cat Guy comes in second, beats him off the pit lane. McToasty moves up from 3rd to 2nd, and NZ Jack falls behind all 3 of them. by a pretty solid distance here, about 5 seconds, thanks to those troubles on the pit lane. And Cat Guy, with the smooth pit stop, comes out in the lead. One Shoe also making the pits, and CMC is in there as well for the second time. So that is the drama and the strategy right there. Jack missed his pit lane the first time, or went to the wrong box the first time in, and then overshot his pit box the second time, and went from coming in as the leader, and has now fallen 5.5 seconds back behind Cat Guy and McToasty, who are nose to tail with just under 20 minutes to go, just past halfway in this race, working lap 14 of what we anticipate will be about 23 laps. But these are long 4-mile laps at Road America, so we've got a long way to go here. And these two came out of that pit stop. We know Jack has the speed. He ran down a conserving Cat Guy at Long Beach to make a race of it at the end, so we'll see if he can do something. And Lecky is also moving up. Lecky gained a little bit of time, as I anticipated, with the short pit. He went from more than 12 seconds back to just 8 seconds back now, so he gained 3 or 4 seconds on those fresh tires, I believe. All right, here we go. Battle for third place as Lecky has come up onto NZ Jack. Gets just a little bit of him, sends him off to the side. I'm wondering if that looked like incidental contact to me, but Lecky moves up into third place with that. Just, if he did touch him, he just barely got him as they were coming through 14, but Jack's troubles continue as he falls back to fourth now, as Lecky, who has put up the fastest laps of the race. I'll double check that as of right now. Lecky's 1:46.2 in race pace is the fastest lap so far, so you know he's got the speed to catch up to these guys. And now that he has put NZ Jack in his rear view, he's got a clear track and 6 seconds in front of him. So we'll see what happens here in these last 17 minutes. Let's get on board onto the cockpit cam with McToasty as he's running in second and right behind the leader. They are coming up onto a lapped car, by the way, which I believe is Green Gaming, just before the Carousel. And meanwhile, behind us, you can see Lecky giving it everything he's got. Lecky also has warmer tires. Coming out and pitting earlier, he's got a stretch here where not only did he come out and have fresh tires while these guys were on old tires, but he had warm tires. And he's also got warmer tires right now as these guys are just coming up to speed, really. So the trade-off on that is the very tail end of the race, the last lap or two. Are these guys going to have more tires than Lecky? But in the meanwhile, he is gaining on them like gangbusters as they go around Green Gaming, adhering to the blue flag, doing a good job of it as well. But these two are possibly going to slow each other up with dirty air and their battle, while Lecky is just closing in like gangbusters. He's now within 4 seconds, so this could easily become a 3-car battle here very quickly. Lecky's in the 147, so he is gaining on these guys. Jiggly Jello, meanwhile, back in the pits, now going looking like he's going a couple laps down. Tough race for Jiggly Jello after such a solid start. There's Lecky coming up. You can see him right now getting into the picture with these top 3 guys. And now once the 3 of them get together, that could possibly, if NZ Jack can get his car under him, that could possibly give him a shot to move up a ways. Looking at the timings there, it looks like One Shoe lost a bit of ground on Muttley in the cycle of pit stops. He's now more than 30 seconds back. Wondering if he had a problem in the pit lane there, or some damage that needed to be repaired on the car. While it appears NZ Jack just continues to fall back, and he might fall into the clutches of Muttley. running in 5th place. So, excuse me, tough luck for him right there. But this just continues now. Lecky's back on top of him. Let's get onto our chase cam first here with Lecky in the Penske Pennzoil Chevrolet, as he has caught up to these guys. He made the short pit, gained about 4 seconds on the fresher tires, and then gained about another 4 seconds on the warmer tires, and now has just gained the last 4 seconds basically off of lap pace. But he is all over you. We do not have the graphic telling us how many push-to-passes these guys have left, but if they have them, we're getting down towards the point in the race inside the final 15 minutes where we're very likely to see them used, as Lecky's looking for a place to go, looking to put the move on McToasty. This is a time to use that just defensively if you've got any push-to-passes. But it looks like Lecky's going to make it work, and he does. Gets it to the inside. Very solid, clean pass, and he moves up into 2nd place. Lecky looking for the ooh, and McToasty gets a little loose there in turn 6, and that is going to hurt his chances as he was pushing through the dirty air. Meanwhile, Lecky has caught Cat Guy. Lecky looking for the weekend sweep here on the transatlantic trip. He won the American GTE race last night right here on this track, and is looking to get the double here at Road America, as he is moving in on your race leader Cat Guy, who might be saving some push-to-passes for defense at this point. But this is going to be a duel, or maybe not so much of one, as Lecky pulls to the outside. Can he make the move stick? These two side by side through turn 14 and drag racing down the front stretch. Cat Guy is not giving up this position easily. Now trying to drive it defensively, trying to take the preferred line into the corner. He does, forces Lecky to pull back out, and meanwhile doing that has allowed McToasty to catch back up to him. Let's get back in that cockpit for now of Lecky, as he has the faster car at this point. Definitely, I believe, has the faster car at this point. Goes to the outside in turn 5. This is a tough place to make that work. But these guys are trying. Cat Guy is driving as cool and defensive as he can. He loses some traction right there, and that might be enough to get it done. And it looks like it is. He gets it done in turn 7, and there you go. Lecky back to the lead as he looks to pull the double off here at Road America. That is going to bring McToasty all over Cat Guy again. And let's see if that is what Lecky needs to pull himself out. Meanwhile, as these three have been giving us compelling battles, Muttley has gotten by NZ Jack, who, whatever came out of that pit stop, he has just struggled. And I wonder if he's got a bad set of tires or what it is, but he had the problems on that pit stop, came in as the leader. He has now fallen 30 seconds back into 5th place, so tough luck for NZ Jack. Meanwhile, Muttley has moved up into 4th. And as Cat Guy and McToasty do battle for 2nd, Lecky stretching out a little bit of a lead as they come down the front stretch. Looks like Survivor hitting the pit lane again, unfortunately from 7th place. That's going to cost him some positions. Let's see if we can catch if he has some damage. We don't see any serious damage repairs. But meanwhile, while Cat Guy and McToasty are doing that battle for 2nd, Lecky has opened up a bit of a lead as he comes through turn 5 into turn 6 under the Corvette banner, coming from a 3rd place starting position. He's had to fight a lot harder so far than he did last night in the GTE race here on this track. But Lecky obviously showing that the UK drivers have a grip of Road America, as he's been fast here in both series run this weekend on the Flux American Tour. And now he's opening up that lead a bit, but as we saw earlier, he had about this size of a lead and had some kind of a problem that gave up the lead. So now he's got to do some conserving to some extent. Remember, he got some of that time back by short pitting, so he came in a few laps before these guys. Now that could mean a number of things. He came in at least a lap or two before them. Now that could mean, obviously, his tires might be a little worn. He had to drive very hard to catch up to them. But you've also got the fact that if fuel is any kind of an issue, he'd be the first one to see it. So that's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on. But in the meantime, he is stretching out that lead as he runs a 146.4 right there. And Cat Guy and McToasty are in the 148s and 149s on that lap. McToasty just trying to keep him in view, which is all you, as you've seen through this race, the fluctuations, all we can do. This is a regular stop for the Flux American Tour here around at Road America, and it is a fantastic track and really has given us compelling racing, both in the American Tour races here in the GTEs and IndyCars, and in the European Tour stop here on Thursday with the GT1s. That was a very entertaining race here on Flux Motorsport TV, which gives me a time to remind you, get that out there again. If somebody's around, that looks like Lecky. As I said, this thing is far from over. Lecky goes around, it appears, coming into the entrance of the carousel, and that is enough to knock him back to third once again. So as we said, he had that lead earlier, had those problems, and just like that, Cat Guy is back out into the lead. So I think what we've seen, both from some of what we've seen Lecky's car do in qualifying and what we've seen here in the race, is that he's got a fast car. He's running basically a qualifying or a qualifying quick setup anyway. I'm sure he'll refute that in the post race, but he's got a car that's consistently finding more speed, but it's been loose at times. And right there, he lost the traction coming into the carousel, and when he went around, that allowed these guys by again. Now the question is, does he have time? 7.5 minutes. We're working lap 21. We're going to have at least 3 or 4 more laps, and you got to wonder about fuel maybe here. I'm not really sure, but you know these guys are trying to save their tires. Lecky, meanwhile, he's just slowly catching back up as he gets the car back under him, and off he goes. We got another car having retired. We're down to 11, and it looks like it's My Name is Jeff. He had a tough race here altogether, did not do well in qualifying, got damaged early on, and just going to be a tough no points day for a very quick driver. As we've got more cars making pit stops as they've wrapped it around, looking to solidify that top 10. But this battle up front here in the final few minutes is just extremely captivating. Let's go to the chase cam. There's what Lecky's seeing in front of him. That's Lecky in third, looking up at McCrusty in second, and Cat Guy in first. We'll stay on this chase cam. This is a great track to use the chase cam on. Look at that speed coming through the kink. He has, I don't know if he's on the push to pass. All right, so we can see how many push to passes they have. All right. Lecky's holding on to one. McToasty is out of his push to pass, while Cat Guy's got a few in the bank. And here's where Lecky's going to set him up. He's going to look to make the move. Pulls to the inside. And he has made the move. So Lecky back to second. He's done this twice now in this race. Gone from gone from losing his top position back to the front. So with 5 minutes to go now, he's got Cat Guy back in front of him and is going to see if he can make the move on him. And do a quick check, and we watch Jack just continue to fall. I'm wondering if there's something seriously wrong with that car. He came into the pits at the halfway point in the lead, had that trouble in the pit lane, and has just fallen like a stone all the way back to 8th place. I'm wondering what problems Jack has had. He's going to take a hit in the point standings here today. That is tough luck. Meanwhile, the battle back up front, as Cat Guy trying to hold off Lucky. All right, as Lex. All right, 3.5 minutes yet to. Whoops. Wrong button there, folks. 3.5 minutes yet to go. Cat Guy narrowly holding off Lucky. He's going to be using those push-to-passes defensively now as McToastie's fallen back a little bit more, about 3 seconds. We said tire management's a big part of what's going on right now. I have been in this very position that these two drivers are in at this very track with this very amount of time left in these very cars, and the worse your tires get, the worse the dirty air gets, and it becomes a dangerous situation for you. You want to push to get there, and you're saving those last couple of push-to-passes for your attack or your defense. If you're Cat Guy, you're waiting to see when Lecky makes his move. As soon as you see that car start to spurt, you're going to hit that button. And Lecky, the same thing. As soon as he sees a spot where he wants to make the move, and he thinks that Cat Guy has bogged down a little, he's going to hit that button and go to make the move. And right here, he is very, very close through Canada Corner. Cat Guy looking for his 3rd win of the season. All right, back into the cockpit on Lecky here. 2 minutes as they hit the line. That means they're going to get at least 2 more laps. So there will be at least 2 more laps here at Road America. 2 laps, 8 miles to go, as Lecky's just going to try to set up his shot here at Cat Guy. Cat Guy going for his 3rd win of the season. Lecky looking for his 1st win in the Flux IndyCar Championship here in the inaugural season. And he has given everything he's got to head at him. Right there through turn 5, he closes up on him. He's very quick through the technicals here in the middle. And there is lap traffic up in the carousel. I wonder if that's going to take any part in the race. Those blue flags are flying from the track marshals here as we are working the penultimate lap here at the Flux IndyCar Championship at Road America. Ooh, Cat Guy takes it a little wide, making that Dallara Chevy as wide as he can. While they're battling, McToastie's coming back into it. All right, if there's anything left in those push-to-passes, they're going to be using them here coming off of turn 14. I can almost guarantee you they are going to be hitting them coming off of turn 14 right here, both in attack and defense. Now, Cat Guy's got to be smooth. He cannot give him a shot because Lecky is all over him here, looking for a place to make the move. Now, they come off the corner here on to 14. Cat Guy trying to break the draft a little bit. They are back on the push to pass. And we have the white flag is out. Final lap here at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Third place McToasty is not far back, but we've got a classic battle for the win. See if we can catch. You can see what McToasty's looking at, but this is what Lecky is looking at here on the chase cam, coming down towards turn 5, getting through Hurry Downs. Goes in deep, deep, deep. This is where you can gain a lot of time if you can keep the traction down. He does a terrific job of catching that. And once again, Lecky's moving in on him. The question is, can he get the arrow? Survivor gets out of the way, observing the blue flag. A good job by him. All right, now they come down to the carousel. This is where Lecky has lost it earlier in the race. So if he can keep the traction underneath him, he goes a little wide, catches some of the curve. That's going to kill a little bit of momentum. But if he's got anything left, he's going to go for it now. Let's see what he's got coming out of the kink. Does he have enough tire? Just not quite able to full throttle it. Not quite able to full throttle it. But there is lap traffic up ahead through Canada Corner, and this is the final lap here at Road America. There is blue flag traffic in front of them, and Lecky is right back on top of Cat Guy, coming through 13 as they come down to 14. This is it. Does either one of them have a push to pass left? Is there anything for him to go with? Down towards the finish, and it looks like Cat Guy's got the power. Does he have enough? And he does. OGR Cat Guy picks up his 3rd win here in the inaugural Flux IndyCar Championship season, and he does it in dramatic style, just barely nudging out Lecky 2000 at the line. What a finish. That is the 2nd time this season on a road course Cat Guy has won by less than 1 second. The IndyCar series provides a great racing package, and proof positive right there. Cat Guy was driving defensively. He was throwing as wide of a car as he could, because where Lecky was fast is where Lecky was fast, and he was gaining on him by leaps and bounds, particularly through the kink section. He was very, very quick through the kink section and coming down towards turn 14. But Cat Guy obviously had a few push to passes saved. He used them strategically, and with it picks up his 3rd win of the season at Road America to Long Beach and Texas. And he is well within the driver's seat here in the 2021 Season 1 Flux IndyCar Championship. A dramatic win for Cat Guy. We'll wait for it all to sort out till we declare our finishing order. Lecky, got to give him credit, a fantastic drive. He had those couple of offs and spins that gave the spot away. He had a fast car. He came back up through the field several times, did a fantastic job, comes away with a 2nd place finish, gets himself onto the podium. And McToasty, he started in 4th place. He finishes in 3rd. He had a very real shot at this race as well. He seemed to fall back a bit once Lecky went through, but McToasty was at a push to pass pretty early, and he's going to come through with a podium finish and a fantastic job. The question, we got to run back there in 7th place, Jack. Not sure what happened to him after the pit stop. He missed the box and then had the long pit stop and was right there with the leaders, but something else was going on beyond that. He might have got a bad set of tires or something, because he was all the way back into 7th place by the end. But we will have our finishing order for you here momentarily. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your final results for the 2021 Season 1 Flux Motorsport IndyCar Championship, Round 5 at Road America, picking up his 3rd win of the season. Your points leader, OGR Cat Guy, topping the podium. Coming in 2nd was Lecky 2000. Lecky with the fastest lap bonus of the race as well, I believe, with a 146.2. Had a lightning quick car all day. He'll be on the middle step of the, or on the 2nd step of the podium in that Pennzoil car. And McToasty with a consistent and solid run. He finishes 3rd from a 4th place starting spot. that rounds out your podium finishers. Muttley in the 22 Menards car. It comes all the way up from, I believe, 11th starting spot to finish in 4th place. He just had a yeoman's drive all day, kept coming through all the trouble, and had pretty good lap time, 1:49.3, and he was running at a 150 pace. Muttley ends up in 4th. The veteran One Shoe, similar deal, comes from the from near the back of the grid to finish in the top 5. One Shoe ends up with a 5th place finish. Those are the 5 cars on the lead lap. Green Gaiman winds up a lap down, but grinds it out to finish in 6th place. A solid run for him. NZ Jack, as we said, the hard luck story of the race. All 3 of those front runners, him, Cat Guy, and McToasty, nose to tail coming in for their pit stop. Jack missed his pit box. Then he overshot the pit box when he found it and lost about 6 seconds to those guys on the cycle of pit stops. But what happened beyond that to go a lap down, I'm not sure. I'm going to guess he got a bad set of tires, something along those lines, because or picked up some damage. I did not see him come back in the pits, but he might have done that. Either way, he comes home in 7th. Middle of the pack finish, but a disappointing run considering he was running for the win. Survivor grinds it home in 8th place. Jack with 2 pits there. Yeah, so I am going to say he did make the extra damage stop. Survivor brings it home in 8th place in the DHL car, a couple of laps down. CMC grinded it out in 9th. He qualified 5th, got caught up in that early spin in turn 1. Got to give him some credit. Grinded it out. His best lap was a 1:47.3. That was lightning quick. Might have even been the 2nd fastest lap of the day, but winds up back in 9th place. So a solid recovery run for him. Jiggly Jello winds up in 10th, and It's Your Boy Squash, who had got caught up in some other people's problems as well, ends up in 11th. So that is going to do it here from Road America. Flux Motorsport, we remind you, go to FluxMotorsport.com to sign up and get involved in all the action. You'll find all your merch, your discounts on industry swag there, such as Fanatec and the like. We also look forward to seeing you tomorrow when the Flux GT3 Championship will be at Sportsland Sugo at 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern. That'll be right here on Flux Motorsport TV. And tomorrow night, the American Tour continues. We'll be hopping on the corporate jets and heading down to Daytona for the night race at Daytona. The Flux Stock Car Championship Round 5 will be running under the lights at the Daytona International Speedway. We will have One Shoe leading the way in the booth there. I myself will be in the number 4 Cash Now car in that field. So we look forward to seeing you there. And as for everybody else here, for our drivers, we thank you. A fantastic run. This is Carlin Hicks for Flux Motorsport TV signing off. We will see you tomorrow in Japan and at Daytona. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.